Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Cloud Native Live. So I'm very excited. So my name is Henry Grexed. I'm a CNCF ambassador, and I will be the host for the entire hour for this live stream. So I'm very excited to be here today after like a summer break. I don't know if you took also a summer break. So by the way, I'm based south of France. So if you're connected and you just recently joined us, let me know where you connected from. And if you took some days off, let me know. And if you're as me restarted the adventure of working back, taking the hard way of working, going back to work, let me know because that's always an issue. So today's session, as you see on the title, we're going to talk about networking, and I'm very excited because I've been following that project. So Tiger has a project called Calico and has a lot of different components. I'm very excited to get some details about this project. But before I introduced the actual speaker and the one that will deliver the entire show, I will be just here as a host. I want to remind you that these live streams is subject to the CNCF code of conduct. So please do not add anything on the chat or question that could violate the code of conduct. Basically, be respectful, be gentle with all the participants of that live stream. Here we are here to learn. We are here to have fun. Yeah, just respect everyone. And we have Ludovic connecting from Marseille. So hi, Ludovic from Marseille. Marseille. I'm from Marseille, from Versailles. Sorry, so close to Paris. So very fun to see that I'm not the only French guy connected here tonight today. All right, so let me introduce tonight or today's speaker. It's going to be Reza from Tigera. So Reza, how are you?
Good. Hello, everyone. I saw you got excited for a second. Oh, it's Marseille. No, it's Versailles. It's good to see a fellow countryman.
That's,
I would say yes.
so Reza, where are you based?
So I'm based in Vancouver. I'm a senior developer advocate at this company called Tigera. We do networking,
Sig-
security, observability. And it's mostly about Kubernetes. We were the OG of Kubernetes CNIs.
Yeah,
We
that's
sort
true.
of built upon that like open source project to add more sort of like utilities and stuff. We had a big sort of release, which was 330. It's an open source release. It's free. It's within CNCF. You guys can just go install it, check it out. And we're going to talk about some of this stuff here today about 330 and showcase it.
And so, because you mentioned Calico is going to be security, networking, observability. So, what are the things that you're going to show us today? Is it going to be related to specifically networking or more security? Just tease us. What are you going to do?
Okay. So today I'm going to start with, we're going to start with a simple application. Now, the problem usually is when you deploy an application, you don't know what it's actually doing. It might be doing what you want, but it might be doing Bitcoin mining and some sort of other malicious thing that you don't know. So, how would you actually figure out what's going on? For this, what Calico 330 uh, provides is something called Whisker. It's a UI that allows you to peek into every sort of communication, check out layer four, layer
Okay.
three, where it's going, where it's coming, layer seven, how much bytes, how much bits, these sort of things.
Cool. Awesome. Very excited. So, we it's yeah 55 minutes. So I'll leave the stage to you. And if there is anything coming on, if I have any things that interest, I will interrupt you and ask you questions. And same thing if you're all the ones are currently connected, either in through LinkedIn or YouTube. use the chat, the comment, to so you can interact with us. And if you have any questions related to Reza's presentation or demo, please drop a comment so that I can a question so that I can we can basically let Reza answer to your questions. All right, Reza, the floor is all yours. So have fun and hope the gods of the demo will be with you tonight.
All right. So thank you. Hello, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about observability in terms of Kubernetes. What I like to sort of point out is everything that I talk about is free and open source, and you can find it with Calico 330. Just check out our website, Tegera, and you will get the hang of it. The specific demo that I'm showing you, it's actually available for anybody who wants to try it. I believe Henrik will help me to show a QR code, which you can see. If you scan it, you will end up in this demo. And this demo is just a simple application, as I said. It was built by me with some stuff in the class and love. And it actually just shows you a couple of communications, and all it tries to take you on an experience of what is actually happening, how you can actually mitigate it, how you can actually secure it, how you can observe it. Now, today, the star of our show is Whisker. Whisker is Calico 330 feature, which we implemented, I think, a couple of months ago. So it sort of shows you all the flows that are happening inside your Kubernetes. For instance, I have a demo application, and my demo application is using source namespace. It has a couple of things. It's a deployment, so I see it as an aggregated. I'm getting way ahead of myself. We get into these, but basically, Whisker is just a way to show you what is going on. All you need to have for running Calico Whisker is an instance of Kubernetes with Calico 330. Again, everything is in our docs. You just go there, figure out, or you just follow this demo, which you saw the QR code for, and you will figure out what's going on. So let's just start with knowing our environment. So this environment is basically a live Kubernetes with, I sort of need to figure out how to write. It's a Kubernetes environment, a bunch of pods. The pods that I'm very interested in is my AMP demo. And it basically has like 3 nodes. This is a K3S install with, I believe, K3D. And it does have a service load balancer. So again, everything is similar to what you would experience in a cloud provider. You get the external IP. The external IP is how you can navigate and communicate with your services and how everything actually works. And to show you what I mean by needing Calico 330. So there are commands that can help you to figure out which version of Calico you are running. If you're not sure, this is one of them. If you are unsure which version of Calico you are running, you can always do kubectl get nodes details or kubectl get cluster information. There is something wrong with me typing today, but we're going to pretend it's not. So it will tell you what version of Calico you are running. So let's say we are running 330 and we want to secure our demo app. So the demo app, it just does 4 probes. One, it tries to reach the internet. The other one tries to reach the core DNS pod. And it tries to reach an external DNS server, and it tries to reach the API server. Now, if you have any questions about anything here, there, please use the chat and we'll figure out the answer. Usually, if I don't know the answer, I will redirect you to our Slack or find you the best help from people who are actually building Calico. So pretty standard network policy. So this is a global network policy. It's similar to admin network policy. So it applies to cluster-wide resources. So with one policy, you secure your whole cluster. Now, there are differences between global network policy. For instance, you can apply it to network cards. These are not implemented with the standard implementation of network policy or admin network policy, or it's going to be cluster-wide policy in the next iteration. But what I'm trying to say is global network policy is a unique Calico resource that allows you to secure your network. So here, what I'm trying to say is secure both ingress and egress and make sure people or pods can communicate with the core DNS. Now, why would people need that? Well, everything in Kubernetes is either an IP address or a label. And these labels usually need to be sort of like interpreted into IPs so we can have the TCP communication or UDP communication. For that reason, I'm trying to do something. Okay, it's better now. So for that reason, every pod needs to be able to communicate with DNS. Now, it's not impossible to not run DNS, but it's not going to be fun because when you don't have DNS, everything is going to be using IPs. And as you know, pods are ephemeral. So every seconds you get a new IP, you have to go update your programs, those sort of stuff. So we basically love DNS. Now, after installing or deploying our policy, what is happening is our demo application now is secure, but I would say more secure than I wanted. So as you can see, everything here is like I cannot reach, which is something that I wanted. I just wanted my program to be able to talk to some local resources, not the internet, because that is a security problem. However, there is a catch. So usually we do this sort of changes and I check my browser, everything is working, and I see like, all right, things are down. I expect it to be down. But if you refresh or if you close your TCP session and don't use the cache, you can see your application is not loading. Now, in these cases, you can come to Whisker and it will show you, well, actually you did do something and it's doing what you expect, but it might be doing more than you wanted. So let me just down for a sec. Yeah. All right. So as you can see, this is the deny that I'm looking for. Now, let me tell you what is happening so you are on the same page as me. I'll try to communicate with my application and it gets denied. I cannot see my application. What is happening is my load balancer. As you can see, I did have a load balancer here. And my load balancer is trying to communicate with my app. So I get to the load balancer. A load balancer tries to redirect the communication, but my policy that I just implemented is cluster-wide and is trying to deny what I'm doing, which is correctly what it needs to happen because the policy that I wrote is not actually complete. It's not a production-ready sort of policy. And I can actually see it in Whisker. So it tells me some pod or some service called web demo is trying to go to a destination and it's getting denied. Now you might say, well, this is a normal thing that I can get anywhere. What's the difference? Why should I use Calico? Well, this is the part that is the secret sauce. So we will tell you what is the chain of policies that this traffic has gone through, and what are the pending ones that might happen. So the idea is you have an enforced policy. Enforced policy is what is happening right now to your communication. But let's say you have a TCP communication that is open. So we don't close that. Since if we close that, you would have disruption. What we do is we tell you for this flow, for this particular flow, the enforced policy, what is happening right now is, for instance, allow the pending policy. When this traffic drops, the pending policy would be denied. So you can sort of come in and figure out what is going on. And on top of that, we tell you about service name. So there was an identity in this session's title. It wasn't a clickbait. We actually tell you about service accounts that are used for flows that are inside the cluster. Again, I want to repeat this because it's important. If you are trying to communicate to internet, we will not show you a service account because, again, it doesn't make sense because you're going out, you don't need service account. But let's say your application is trying to communicate with the Kubernetes API server. Then you might use a service account. Then we show you that service account in source labels. So if you check the source labels for this pod or the service, you don't see this service controller, whatever. But we will append it here, and I believe it will be with the service name title. Now that being said, you also get other sort of statistics. For instance, how many packets are in, how many packets are out, protocol. So these are layer 4 sort of thingy. What is the protocol? What is the port? Where you're trying to communicate? How much byte in? How much byte out? And if you have gone through, I don't know, CCNA, CCNT, or you're learning about networking, this is sort of like heaven. Because right now you can say, oh, I see what is happening. There is an asymmetric routing. I'm sending something, but nothing is coming back. So how would you fix that? You need to make the route happen. You need to make the output come in. Anyway, so now, go
Reza, I
ahead.
have a small question here. So all the data that Whisker is displaying, I guess it's coming from the logs that Calico pods are producing. So it's like it's pre-parsing the logs, I guess, and then exposing it to like a UI. And have you? That's my assumptions. Maybe I'm wrong. And then have you thought about maybe people can use OpenTelemetry Collector to expose it on to an OpenTelemetry endpoint using those logs, or do you have does Whisker has like I said an output where you can say I want to stream out that data to an OpenTelemetry endpoint, so then the value that the data that you're showing us today could be also used elsewhere in other platform like any observability solutions on the market.
So I would like to say, unfortunately, you should have wished for money because I guess this wish is granted. What you can do is you can just open the tutorial page. Here is programmable Kubernetes observability.
Awesome.
You can basically take everything that you see and push it into anything that you want with any standard. Like there is no limit. And so This tutorial, again, same thing. It's in a web browser. It shows you where to look for the flow, how to like talk to the flow, how to get the flow, gather the flow, ship the flow, these sort of things.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks.
No worries.
I'll let you continue.
All right. So we had okay, we saw the deny, and our application is crippled. Our application is unresponsive because we cannot talk to it because of the policy. So what should we do? Now, I talked about observing it. Obviously, we can write a policy that can be correct, but how would you know to write a policy that is correct without knowing like everything about the application? Keep in mind, we're not always the web developer or application developer. We don't know what communications are happening. And again, going through all the logs, that is something that, well, I don't fancy doing. Like, it is possible. It's okay to do it for one application, one node. But what if you're running like 1,000 nodes, like 10,000 pods? Because again, Kubernetes can scale. So what would you do then? You just go through all the logs? That would be a bit difficult. Now, what you could do is, so let me just delete my policy. Actually, I think it should be here. So I'm not gonna go and do stuff that are not in the tutorial. We're gonna stick to tutorial. So make sure you would have the same experience. So I talked about Whisker. I thought about observing. I showed you what you can observe. But here is something else. Now, you can create Kubernetes policies, and Kubernetes policies will be enforced by your policy engine. Keep in mind, you do need a policy engine, something like Calico. Kubernetes on its own doesn't enforce policies. It relies it on a policy engine. So again, with Calico 330, we have this concept, this unique concept of staged network policies. Now, staged network policies are unique resources that can be used to create a Kubernetes policy, a Calico policy, a global Calico network policy in a staged way. What is staged? So staged is just a representation of what is going to happen if you create that policy. So for instance, I'm going to create the same policy from before. So it's going to be default app deny, same UDP and TCP port 53, same egress and ingress. Everything is the same. The only difference is I prepended, there's a prefix of a staged. You can do this for Kubernetes network policies too. You can do staged Kubernetes network policies. And when you run this, instead of creating an enforceable policy, it will create an observable policy. Now, come back to my application, everything is working. I click on things are reachable. Now, what gives? So now, if you come to Whisker and look for your application, you can see, I believe it's paused. You can see that your application from the web demo is trying to communicate things. If you come to enforced and pending, you should be able to see your staged network policy with the name of the policy that you created. So you can actually tell what is it that you are trying to do, and it will tell you what is it that is happening. Now, that being said, you created the staged network policy. Now you have seen what is happening. But how can you filter down? So there are two ways. One, is you can take this data out, you can take it to anywhere you like, parse it there, or you could use filters. There are filters in Whisker that allows you to go to a namespace, find a policy that you just wrote, find a source that you're interested in, find a destination namespace that you're interested in, and figure out which ports or which ports that you would like to check. On top of that, there is also a denied flow, sort of like a quick window into what is actually being dropped. It's not going to work for a stage network policy, but let's say you enforce the policy and you want to know, is there anything funky happening, or if there's anything dropping flows? So that would be the place to look for. All right, so I got the stage network policy, and I sort of want to figure out what is the next step. So the next step is, if you look through the network, the Whisker AI, UI, not AI. While AI is everywhere, I'm not talking about it right now. So if you look through here, you would see the service that was being blocked is trying to do something. And that something is, it's trying to communicate with a destination on port 80. And that destination is actually somewhere inside a namespace called web demo and a destination name called app demo app. All right, these are labels. I actually know what these are, so I can create a policy for this. All I need to do is to put these information from here to my network policy. So my network policy would look like this. I'm trying to tell Kubernetes, I'm writing a security policy with this name. You can change the name to anything that you want. It's coming from this namespace. Like if it's coming to this namespace, web demo, and it has a selector, app, demo app. Again, where did I find that? It's in here, app, demo app. And what should happen? So for this incoming call, the action should be allowed. If you work with Kubernetes network policies, you know you cannot specify an action. Everything is permitted. If you have written it, everything else would be denied. This is a Calico network policy. It's unique. It gives you a little bit more. So this is one of those. It gives you a specific action that you can call. For instance, drop this, log this, or allow this. Here, I want to allow it. If it's TCP, and if the destination is this pod or these pods that I have with this sort of label, app selector, and it's trying to talk to port 80. If I run this policy, my app should still work. And there are two things that we learn. One is if you're running a cluster-wide policy, make sure it stays. Two, not every policy is equal. So when you are trying to write a policy, make sure your policy applies to the things that you want it to apply. If you're not sure, use a stage network policy. Use flow logs. Take all these logs from Whisker or any application that you're running that gives you the information about your web app, workload, whatever it is in Kubernetes. Go through it, figure out what are the stuff that you're trying to talk to, and then write your policy. Now, what happened to the stage network policy? We didn't actually secure anything, right? We just opened a gateway to our application. Everything is still green. I don't want this pod to talk to the internet. So how can I do that? Well, again, it's quite easy. I wrote the stage network policy, and I know it works because it sort of blocked me from opening my app. So all I need to do is to get rid of this staged and make my policy a global network policy. So basically, uh, this is the way that I like. So I dump the policy into a YAML and I do a set or replacement. So my policy, okay, let's do this again. All right. So here I dump the policy with kubectl. This is something that we do on a regular basis. We see a resource, we dump it out. And here is staged. All I did with these two commands, I dumped this and got rid of this staged. And now that it's done, I can run it again. And now I have a global network policy. If I come to the demo app and try again, I can only reach core DNS and Kubernetes API server because these are internal. I cannot talk to internet, which is the thing that I'm looking for. If you go through the tutorial at the first, I think, first half, it talks about the goal. The goal is to prevent this workload from talking to internet. If you come to a Whisker and look for it, you will see my demo app now allows some things to happen. For instance, this is a core DNS, and this is a request for a DNS name or something. But some stuff are not happening. Now, these stuff are the public network. I'm trying to reach out to the internet. So here I got a deny. You can basically see which policy denied. If there are other policies in the way, you will see all of them. And it would tell you what happened and who denied it. So there are two things. The reporter. The reporter could be either source or destination. So you know if it was the originating source or the receiving destination who denied it. And with that, this tutorial ends. Any questions? Because it was a lot of things to unpack: networking, observability.
So I have there's no question. So for anyone connected, if you have any questions to Reza or to what you've seen so far, please drop your questions in LinkedIn or YouTube, depending where you're connected from. Question. So just to recap, you should start with stage policies. Then once you're confident with the stage policy, because you see basically nothing is blocked, but at least you're audited so somehow, then I can move it to a global policy. And then I was wondering, so you created at one certain stage a network policy that is on an namespace level, and you authorize some traffic. What is the order? So if I have a global policy and then I put a network policy, would that traffic be authorized because I have defined a network policy, or the global one is like the supreme rule for in general?
I see. All right. So there is something called order or priority. This is also available in admin network policy. So if you guys are trying to like get connected to the Kubernetes communities, search for network admin network policy, and it's a community about these sort of things. So what you're trying to talk about is the priority. In Calico, you can right now create policies that have priority. Priority is a number, and that number, if it's closer to zero, that means you have highest priority. If it's lower, or if it's like 10,000, a million, that means you will be evaluated later on down the chain.
Okay, so by default, because in the Whisper we saw that it started with the global one, stage one, and then the network one. So the default order is like global is zero, I guess. Stage is one, and network policy is three or something, and then you can basically adjust the priority
Yes.
numbers. Okay.
So on that note, if you really like to like understand, like if somebody is really like interested in policies, and how it actually works. There's this GitHub, and it was actually a CNCF one. So there was a presentation for CNCF that I've done like a couple of moons ago. Again, you can find it on this channel, YouTube, or you can just come here, and I believe it was this one. So I can, oh, this time I can show you a QR code.
Oh,
Yeah, technology. So
if you
if
can,
you
if
come
you
to
can,
this,
if you can send the link on in the
100%,
private chat, I can send it to the public chat.
100%. Let me just try to navigate to monitors. All right.
Awesome, thanks.
So every question that you have in terms of order, priority, how policies are getting evaluated can be answered here. It basically talks about what are the directions, what are the rules, how you create a policy, what is a policy order, how is the precedence going, what are the priority numbers. If two policies have the same priority, what would happen? How would you evaluate that situation? And on top of that, what is the tiebreaker? Let's say you have a policy, like two policies with the same priority and the same name. What would happen? How would you evaluate it? So everything is here down to the last bits of policy decisions that are happening in Kubernetes.
So there's a
With
questions from Joshua. So it's not a dumb question, Joshua. It's always great questions to drop. So thanks for asking. Do network policies also manage host policies as well? Do I need to secure the Calico node separately? What's your recommendations?
All right, so Kubernetes network policy doesn't apply to hosts. That was something that I mentioned in the beginning. And this is actually something that everybody is looking for. How would you secure the host? For that, Calico offers something called host endpoints. So basically, you create a host endpoint, and then you can attach that to your network policies.
So so host endpoints. So if I have like a cluster with three nodes, and then the node number three, for example, is sensitive because I have put some taints intolerance or node labels or whatever to deploy Calico and different things. So you will create a host endpoints with that node selector, I guess, or taints. So then you're able to recognize that, or
Yes. So basically, again, we're using labels. For in this example that I showed you, again, going through it, there are host endpoints in it. So here I use the label host name because I wanted one of my hosts to be secured in a way that is different from the others.
mm,
Again, you can go with taint, you can go with like host name, you can go with anything that you want. You just need the glue, and the glue is Calico host endpoints.
okay. But the Calico has host endpoints needs to be created prior to this global network policies.
Yes,
Okay. Do you have an
but you
example?
don't have.
Do you have an example of
Well,
a host endpoints policy?
yes, there are two. You're looking at one again. What's it called? Here, if you go through this, it will be host endpoints, policies, global network policy, everything in between. If you're not into like following things on your local machine, just come to our tutorial, the first QR code, and come down to eBPF and XDP. Yes, this QR code. Thank you. I should have wished for money. So this QR code, if you scan it, you would come to this page, go to eBPF and XDP. It will walk you through creating host endpoint with XDP. So XDP is just, let's say it's a highway that takes everything and send it faster.
Cool. All right. Cool. Thanks. Thanks also for asking questions. If anyone has other questions, please. We still have a few minutes left, so maybe we can take one or two more questions. Otherwise, Reza, do you have anything else do you want to share with us tonight?
I would just like to say, Joshua, thank you for the great question, because host endpoint is one of those things that people think it should be there, but it's not actually there. And everybody is just like, oh, so how should I like secure my Kubernetes now that I have network policy? So great question. Anything else to share? No, just the GitHub channel that I run, or the GitHub repository, has everything. Like even this presentation will be uh, added to this sort of like repository. Everything has dates. You can go through it. There are things about multi-cluster, uh, installation of Calico, eBPF, XDP, application programming, taking things from flow logs. So anything that you want is here. Everything is open source. Everything is free. Most of them are CNCF.
There's a great questions from Tomio. Can Calico Whisker be integrated with Enterprise SEM or other monitoring tools? I think we briefly covered that questions when I brought my Observability geek hat by asking, "Oh, can I get the data out of Whisker to OpenTelemetry?" And I think you mentioned that in the tutorial you have something.
Yes. Thank you. So again, it's a great question, Tomio. Hopefully, I pronounced it right. So if you come to the tutorial page, there was a QR code floating somewhere.
Let me open
If
it.
you come to the tutorial page, thank you. This one, programmable Kubernetes observability, tells you all the steps that you need in order to take those flows, put it anywhere you want, and that's it.
All right, cool. Thanks, Tomio, for asking questions. And yeah, Ludovic is
Oh, I
thanks.
forgot something.
Oh,
So
you have
we
there's a Slack channel CNCF or in
yes,
Tiger on.
um, both CNCF and Tigera one. We can do both. So I think it's slack.project.calico.org. I'm so brave trying to type things. Yeah, yes. So if you come to slack.projectcalico.org, I actually need to do something that you told me.
If you have the link, also maybe I can drop
Yes,
it in the
yes.
chat.
Slack.projectcalico.org. Yep. So this is the link. If you have any question about Kubernetes, networking, network security, these sort of things, come to our Slack channel, come to our GitHub, create an issue. CNCF, Kubernetes community, Calico. These are inclusive communities. We honestly just care to answer you, and we are stoked to find people who like share the same passion in technology, networking, these sort of things. So just come in, ask your question. There would be some person somewhere who would answer you and be like, "Oh, it's actually a good one. Let's try to figure it out."
Last question to you. KubeCon is yeah, we are in August still, but soon September and October will be rising. So Reza, would you be in Atlanta for the next KubeCon North America? And if yes, anyone from here could maybe interact with you there.
That is a great question. I believe I might go to El Salvador, but Tigero would be in KubeCon. So if you come to KubeCon, um, check out our CalicoCon party and CalicoCon presentation. It's going to be jam packed with technical things, observability, programming everything, and you would actually have engineers who would like answer your questions. So you can go in details as much as you want and ask them any sort of Kubernetes engineering question. And we also have a booth in uh,
The expo.
uh, the expo. Yes, thank you. And come by our booth. I believe my colleagues would be there. Casey Davenport is a huge Kubernetes sick chair sort of thingy. Not that he's huge, but he's been with Kubernetes community for a long time. So we're going to be in KubeCon as well. If you come by our booth, we'll be happy. Where you can find this information, either our Slack channel or tigera.io. The tutorial page would have the banner as well.
Cool. Great. So yeah, if you have more questions, you can still like Reza mentioned, go to the Slack channel of the project, and maybe if you're in Atlanta, interact with the Tiger folks that would be in person at the conference. All right. So I think I don't see any more incoming questions. Reza, thank you for the session. Very informative. Very great demo. I think everyone followed, and thanks everyone connected because there was a lot of great questions, so a lot of great interactions. I think that was at least I enjoyed hosting that session because there was a lot of uh, interactions during this live stream. So thanks everyone for joining this episode of the Cloud Native Live. If there will be more Cloud Native Live coming in, so stay tuned. There will be more coming in from CNCF LinkedIn channel or on the YouTube channel. And if you didn't have the chance to join us live, don't worry, everything is recorded, or at least it's available in LinkedIn or YouTube. So thank you, everyone. And I hope to see you soon for another live stream of CNCF.